come once again to discuss things.
Alright, you guys ready to go ahead and get started then?
Yep, set.
Alright, hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I am Sid Partu. Joining me today is Milan Jeftik, aka the Russian comic book geek, and Mr. Steve Baxi, aka the hardest working man on YouTube. That's my new thing for you. You're now the hardest working man on YouTube.
Shit, so...
So today we're discussing kind of a weird topic, and it's going to be kind of hard to really get this down, so, you know, kudos to Future Ian for coming up with a title for this.
Future Ian is the man.
No, Future Ian's always condescending and stuff. He's always, like, telling me what to do and stuff. And past Ian's just a dick. He's always like, don't tell me what to do, you're not my dad. And then Future Ian comes in and he's all telling me what to do. I'm like, don't tell me what to do, man, you're not my dad. Present Ian is where it's at.
I like how that went in a nice, perfect grammatical way.
Yeah, there we go. Anyway, so, no, what we're going to talk about today is just the way in which fan reaction and fan expectation of a property affect your ability to enjoy something and the ability of other people to enjoy something. Because it really is a double-edged sword, like most swords, in that it can really hurt something. It can also really help something when someone's got a lot of fan hype behind it.
Or no hype whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, and that's when can certainly hurt. But when fans are like really excited for things, it can make the thing a little bit better even. I think we've all had examples of like a thing that, you know, maybe it's not, you know, Return of the Jedi, because this is going to become a Star Wars video. Return of the Jedi might not be the best Star Wars movie or anything, but the fan love for that, the fan reactions for that, really do make that movie a lot better than it might be. And so what's put this topic in my head is just the horrible polarization that's gone on with Star Wars Episode 7. Like, I'm seeing all kinds of people posting videos saying it's the worst Star Wars movie, that it's worse than the prequels, and I'm like,
no.
Are you high?
Oh god, no. For one, it's coherent.
For two, there's no talk about sand.
You know, it's funny. If you just read the culture of the times of the popular idea of a thing, if you look at the fucking the wannabe Darth Vader kid, Han's son, that's the one. It's always just like, I went to see it, and it was okay, but it was just like, it's so strange because they have this wonderful thing where it's just like, hey, that's mine. They had this big ugly alien thing screaming at the girl as she stole the Millennium Falcon, and it was hysterical. I'm like, it fascinates me how people just attach themselves to a certain thing and just say, yep, that's my thing. I'm like, dude, it's not your thing. It's just a thing that people like. And the people that like it now, that like Star Wars and talk about Star Wars all the time, it's just kind of become that mainstream geeky property that you can just like. It's okay to like something goofy now. And it's weird how things like this kind of go in vogue. Like, you said before that no one's really reading anything, and it's because nobody really gives a fuck about the shit that you like. And with Star Wars, there's just such an interesting idea there where it's just such a commentary on modern-day perceptions of, you know, geekdom. And how, if for a while they're, hey, you're a geek, you're a dork, that's cool, I guess, with all the fucking superhero movies and whatever. But in reality, once you see it, it's just like, hey, that kid, that fucking wannabe Darth Vader, it was just so hysterical because it's just that's the guy that they think people like us are. Just, that's what they think we are, just these weird dudes just completely obsess over something that really doesn't matter.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I disagree with that.
I mean, I part of it is I couldn't really follow the logic for half of it, so I don't know if I disagree, but I think I disagree.
It's a Star Wars film. There's no fucking logic there. It's just like, hey.
No, now I completely disagree.
I don't know. It was just like it's a Star Wars movie.
Well,
no, because like
okay, Ian, go ahead.
I disagree with it because like Kylo Ren's a really interesting character to me, and you know I don't want to make this a review of Episode 7.
Yeah.
But I don't really see him as a commentary on geek culture in any way, of him being like this kind of awkward guy that's weirdly obsessed over things. Like, yeah, he's kind of weirdly obsessed over Darth Vader, but, you know, that's like someone being kind of weirdly obsessed over Hitler or Mussolini, you know, which those people exist.
Yeah.
That's a thing that happens. It's not like this weird, obscure, kind of neat, goofy shit. It's like a really disturbing direction for a young person to go into.
Yeah.
I find like all the Nazi imagery of Star Wars, it's been there since the beginning. And honestly, like this is gonna sound silly. You know, people who were complaining about the whole black stormtrooper thing, they were all idiots. But at first, I was a little bothered by a black stormtrooper because of all the Nazi parallels. So, like, that one part of it bothered me. All the other complaints are completely stupid, but that one little aspect bothered me until I saw the movie, and then we get an explanation that totally works.
Right.
No, but, like, the idea that, you know, I think that's taking it way too far, because all the Nazi imagery in Star Wars is very, very intentional. In the old EU comics, from what I understand, the Empire was pretty much all white, all human.
Yep.
Because it was supposed to be like Nazis in space. Now they've changed that up a bit, and that's fine, but still.
It's inclusive Nazis in space.
Yeah.
And I mean, also, Kylo Ren is not a marginalized party. He's not like a nerd that's fighting back against a majority. He's in power.
Hello?
He's just trying to make people understand that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't see that as a commentary whatsoever. I mean, I think you could maybe expand on his childhood and get there, but that's not in the movie.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, I really didn't want to make this a Star Wars video, but it's such a it's so in my head.
I mean, it's
Milan,
easy to go to considering the topic, yeah.
Yeah, Milan, are you coming in and out or something? Are you having audio problems?
No, it's fine. It's just a shitty computer.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I really wouldn't see that as a commentary, but I think there are characters like that.
Yeah.
You know, not the most timely example, but Larfleeze in his introduction arc, the Agent Orange story arc in the Green Lantern comic books, Hal Jordan at one point grabs his battery and is, you know, in an attempt to take his power away from him or whatever. And Larfleeze grabs it back and smashes him over the head and says, "Don't you dare touch it, it's in mint condition." And you look at the kind of character that Larfleeze is, he's this really weird, shut-in, obsessive that has to collect everything and it's all got to be his and no one else's. That's a really, really poignant commentary on that one guy that we all know from the comic book store.
Right.
That, like, you know, he's got to be he's the one that's there first thing in the morning. He has to get his books. If they're not in perfect mint condition shape, he won't pay for them. You know, we've all seen that guy.
Right.
And so I think that those kind of commentaries on fans do exist, and I'm trying to think if there's something else. I know I've got another example somewhere in the back of my head, but it's just not coming to mind right now.
Well, I think another good one, more positive light one, would be something like Harry Potter. I mean, Alan Rickman just died, so I guess that's how I might have been rewatching the movie.
Hey, can I make a really fucked up joke real quick?
Sure.
So you know who took Bon Jovi's death the hardest? David Bowie, sorry. You know who took David Bowie's death the hardest?
Who's that?
Alan Rickman. Too soon? Too soon?
That is fucked up.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
But you're laughing.
Why does everyone like like?
But no, I mean,
Bowie's cool and all, but it's just like, he's everyone's favorite transsexual.
But no, I think Harry Potter's another good example of that, because you basically have the very generic hero's journey archetype with Harry as a character, but you're also doing the whole, he looks like a very stereotypical nerd, he's isolated, he doesn't have any friends, he has very weird habits and hobbies, no one gets him, like he's got all the trappings, he's got exactly the kind of feeling that most of us probably had like when we were the age that those books were meant for. Mm-hmm. And it captured that really well. I mean, it's not the same thing as something like Larfreeze, or even Kylo Ren if you're going in that direction, but it's that idea on a more positive line.
And I guess, Milan, I'll give you a little bit of rope there and say maybe you can kind of take it that way, because that's kind of what the emo Kylo Ren Twitter account is getting at.
And it's also giving him a backstory, though.
Yeah, and it's just really humorous and parody, but still. So I don't know. I'll give you a little bit of rope with that, but I think that's as a critique of the film, I think it's a little weak. As a general joke about the character, fair enough.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's kind of weird because it's just like there's this weird divide that happens between it's like all this ridiculous internet politics just to see how people react to this movie, and I'm like, dude. It's silly, but I'm like, it's one of those things where it's just like he kills his own dad. I mean, like, Jesus Christ, it's
right?
like, fuck. He stabs his dad, fucking Han Solo through the fucking chest as he's trying to fucking talk him off the
scene?
precipice.
My favorite thing about that scene that like I have yet to hear anyone else mention in all these reviews I've been watching?
What's that?
Han pulls at the lightsaber first. No, seriously, go back and watch it again. Like, they both have their hands on it, and as the light leaves, right before Kylo Ren turns on the lightsaber and stuff, Han is the first, like, it's really subtle movement. They show their hands, and Han tries to pull it away first.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Han shot first before he died first.
All right.
Oh, that's painful.
I know. But anyway, so let's kind of get off of Star Wars. Can you guys think of fan reactions that have really, really put you off of a movie?
Yes.
Or a comic or whatever?
Yes. Right away I'm going to the next easy example. Both Avengers and Dark Knight Rises. Because I think this is when it actually became an issue. I think after 2012, it became a much bigger deal than it was beforehand. Everyone started picking sides and camps and arguing, and it got horrible. I don't like The Dark Knight Rises. I really like The Avengers. I won't watch either of them anymore simply because of how annoying fans on both sides can be. And the idea that you can't like one if you don't like the other, or you like one and you can't like the other, like, that's ridiculous. They're not even the same thing.
Yeah, well, the people who...
And Dark Knight Rises particularly bugs me because I really want to like it. And every time I get close to it, someone has to come and comment and tell me how I'm wrong about everything I don't like about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets really frustrating really fast.
Yeah, it's weird, like, people just dig Batman. It's like, hey, Batman's awesome. Like, sure, but still, it's a movie.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, like, I kind of sympathize with that viewpoint, though, because when someone tells you, oh, this movie you really like has all these problems, we're reviewers, we have some experience in, trying to take an objective viewpoint, even though, Milan and I don't feel that way, but still, we have that in the back of our heads where we can kind of take an objective viewpoint, at least listen to people's criticisms. But at the same time, there are people who aren't used to that, who are told, hey, your movie that you like has all these problems, and they kind of take that personally as kind of a critique against themselves. So I can kind of understand, on some level, wanting to react against that, wanting to go, no, hey, that's not true because of all these other reasons. But at the same time, I don't think they realize in the back of their head that they're alienating the person further. That the person is often just trying to make general points, not trying to be dismissive or rude.
But I think part of it is how you present it. Because, I mean, I've had lots of conversations with people that don't think about movies in any critical way, and I talk about something they like and address all its problems, and they don't care. because we're talking about it conversationally. There is no, like, there's not a debate going on. It's just like general intrigue. Oh, you like it? Why? I don't like it because, you know? Other times it's, you like this? Let me go grab my gun so we can have a battle about it.
Right.
And I mean, that's not a mentality I find entertaining at all. And I mean, people can like whatever they want. People can have whatever opinion or taste they want. If they want to get into a debate, then I will happily debate them, but there's still etiquette. There's still a kind of civility that seems to be lacking when it comes to certain bigger fandoms, like Dark Knight Rises, like Avengers, and even like Star Wars.
How about you, Milan? Anything you can think of where the way people reacted to it kind of put you off of the thing on the whole?
The thing is, I don't really pay attention to that shit. I'm like, oh, it's a cool thing that I kind of like. I'll check it out. And then I check it out, and whether I like it or not, it really depends on me. And if I like something, yeah, it's good. I don't really pay attention to what people like about, or like or dislike about things anymore. Or just anything like that. It's a thing. People will like it, or they won't. Whatever.
Really? You've never had that where, like, someone, talking a thing up or shitting on it constantly just changed your ability to react to or your desire to even see a thing?
No, not really. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. I never really had. Just like, you don't like a thing? Cool. That guy likes it. Well, that guy's an idiot. Well, fuck him. I just go see a thing, read a thing, check something out, and if I like it, I like it. And if I don't, I don't. What are you going to do?
Fair enough. And that's, I don't have quite the same thing, but I kind of get to the same point as you, because that's why I don't watch trailers and don't participate in, like, fan theorizing, because it can be a lot of fun, like, when you analyze every single frame of a trailer and try to figure out all the little hidden details and everything you can about the movie. That can be fun, but it gets, like, beyond trailers, spoiling all the great shots or giving away the story, there's also a certain level of you build an expectation of what the movie is going to be in your head. And I can't fucking help it. We're going back to Star Wars again. So, the one complaint that I've kept hearing from people that I just, I totally did not see coming was Captain Phasma. Like, everyone is complaining that she was, such a wasted opportunity of a character. But every, argument comes, well, you see her in the trailers and she looks so cool. Well, I didn't watch the trailers, so I had no expectations for the character, so she was plenty serviceable for the story.
Well, to be fair with Captain Phasma, though, in the trailers, there's only, one shot of her that they reuse constantly, and
Gotcha.
The only reason people were expecting her to be cool is because the actress was hyping up how cool of a character that is.
Fair enough. No, I just, I heard people talking about it, I'm really? Why did they expect her to be cool? Well, she looked really cool in the trailers.
And she did, for that one shot they kept using.
Yeah, just have somebody walk down a hall in slow motion with a gun, and oh my god, that person's cool. Nah, it's just a person in a cool suit. It's Star Wars.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. Fan reaction in your head really, it lets you build an expectation of what a movie is going to be. Dark Knight Rises, a lot of people were trying to call exactly what that was going to be based on the trailers. There were all these, fan theories out there based on everything. And ultimately, it wasn't what, in Dark Knight Rises, my joke has always been, it was the movie we deserved, but not the one we needed right now. And, it's a satisfactory ending to that story, depending on how you're looking at it. I don't really want to get into a review of Dark Knight Rises, but it wasn't the ending everybody wanted it to be. And that's where a lot of the expectations came from.
When did that fucking movie come out anyway?
2012.
Jeez.
You're old.
It's not that I'm old.
You're an old man and a fool.
That I know perfectly well.
The first episode of Geeky Gentleman was about The Dark Knight Rises.
That's interesting.
Think about that. God. Think about how long it's been.
How many years have I been doing this thing?
3.5 or something.
God. Jesus. Quarter, half of a decade, man. Jesus Christ.
Sure. Because math.
Math.
No.
But I like that you don't watch trailers because that really helps you get away from some of that. But I think part of the problem is also after a movie comes out and people take up camps. Because there's obviously the people that think just from a trailer everything's automatically going to be amazing or everything's automatically going to be awful. You're seeing that with Batman vs. Superman right now a lot, where there's lots of people that are saying just because it's Batman vs. Superman, it's going to be the greatest movie ever. And after the movie comes out, we will no doubt have the same thing that happened with Man of Steel, where there will be lots of people saying it's the greatest thing ever, and then lots of people saying it's the worst thing ever, and you can't have a middle ground because there's only two extremes that you're allowed to join.
I mean, to be fair, any kind of news that comes out for that movie, everyone just hates it. It's so weird. Every time news comes out for that movie, I'm just hearing like, DC's shoving Wonder Woman down our throats, and oh my, I'm so like, Ben Affleck, oh my god, it's the worst Batman movie ever now, and just everything. Cannot get away from the hate for anything DC does.
Yeah, it's just like one of those things. It's a Batman movie with Superman in it, and they're gonna fight, and there was gonna be a Wonder Woman in it, and it's gonna be fun, and it's just like, yeah. And I think it's because it looks so moody. It feels like, oh my god, why isn't this the Avengers? Because it's DC, man. You can't have everything look like the Avengers, man. I mean,
they're very intentionally going on the opposite direction, so we just have to wait and see what they do with it. But, I mean, it's still a problem that fans feel the need to take up for something that they haven't seen yet.
Certainly, and, that's the thing is, it's just so weird. I'm just wait for the movie to come out. Just be excited that you're getting a Batman-Superman movie in live action.
I mean, just hope for the best and then deal with what you get.
Right?
The Cloverfield, the sequel to Cloverfield, I think it's a sequel. They call it a spiritual sequel when I read an interview. But the 10 Cloverfield Lane, the movie's coming out in 2 months, apparently. No one knew anything about it, and we just got a trailer yesterday, or earlier today, I don't remember. But, I mean, that's pretty good damn marketing.
What did he, make that while he was shooting Star Wars?
I have no fucking clue. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. And, I mean, I guess that's the way to manage expectations, is just manage what you release. I guess part of the problem with fans is also a problem with studios, where they feel the need to advertise everything after the movie before the movie itself comes out. We knew Civil War and most of what Phase 3 was going to be about before Age of Ultron came out, and that's a problem.
Yeah, because it takes away the stakes, doesn't it?
Exactly. I mean, it's part of the fun of getting those end-of-phase Avengers movies is that we have no idea where we're going to go from here after that movie ends, but now we do. And that's an issue. And DC, I can forgive a little bit more because they're a little bit slower and they have to build a little bit of credit. So they have to release a bunch of stuff at once, which is fine, which is cool. At the same time, we don't need as many trailers as they're shoving down our throats right now.
Fair enough, and me, I don't watch them. And seriously, I cannot recommend enough. Just pick a movie that you know is coming out and don't watch any trailers for it.
Yeah.
That you know this is going to happen. It's good, it's something that you're at least interested in. Just avoid every trailer and let me know what your experience of the movie is and how you think it would have been different.
That Sinestro bit was fucking awesome, man.
What?
That Sinestro bit was fucking great, man.
What?
Huh?
Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I mean, to Ian's point, I saw John Wick without seeing a single trailer for that, and I love that movie to death. But if I saw one trailer for it before I went into the theater, I would have thought it looked awful because those trailers were not very good. And
not just that, but I mean, everything about a trailer is, they ruin a lot of the shots, and if they don't ruin all the good shots, then they give away the whole story is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I really wish, I made it till a week before The Dark Knight before I knew that Two-Face was going to be in the movie. And the only way I found out...
that going in.
Yeah, the only way I found out was I was watching something and they showed a clip of, Aaron Eckhart's character face down in the gasoline or whatever.
Oh.
I'm like, oh man, Two-Face is going to be in this. And then, so the whole movie I was waiting for Two-Face to show up.
That's a shame, because that's something I did not see coming at all.
It was so perfect. And it's weird because they really did set it up like to trick fans because they have, you know, Two-Face's comic book origin almost take place the first time we meet the damn character.
Yeah, which is cool.
Whereas in court, and like the guy like pulls out the gun, all it had to do was pull out acid, and it would have been like seriously the comic book origin right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's even Maroney who's on the stand, I think.
It's one of his henchmen, but yeah.
At least Maroney's in the room, so.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where like we got so close to it, and that would have been a fantastic tease because all the fans are like, "Holy shit, it's Harvey Dent! Oh my god, he's gonna be Two-Face!" And then the next scene, it's like, "Holy shit, he's about to have fucking acid splash in his face." And I'm like, "Oh, he didn't." Okay, I wonder what's gonna happen with this character now. And then we get to know him and build up, and there's a lot of great stuff in that. Believe it or not, The Dark Knight is like a fantastic movie or something.
Yeah, I mean, like it's really pretty damn good.
All right, so what's a movie that you can think of, Steve, since Milan's just like, oh, that doesn't affect me. What's a movie you can think of where fan reaction has made you enjoy it?
Made me enjoy it. Off the top of my head, I think I'm trying not to make everything comic book, so I'll go ahead and say Whiplash. Whiplash is a movie I knew nothing about, and then it came out, and everyone and their mother was raving about how great it was, how brilliant it was. I saw so many 2014 top 10 lists where everyone put it on top. Like, everyone was absolutely in love with this movie. I had no idea what the hell it was about. I just knew J.K. Simmons was in it. So I sat down and watched it, and I think part of that excitement accompanied with that mystery made me love it more than I think I should, and I still love it to death. And part of it was just seeing something that everyone can agree on and love, and me wanting to get in on that universal joy.
Yeah, and I think I've had that with other things too. I mentioned Return of the Jedi before, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something new. I'm trying to think of another example, something a little more recent than, you know, or it doesn't necessarily have to be something that's just coming out, but like something that the fan reaction to it or the fans' love for it make you overlook flaws in it. Yeah, probably the whole Harry Potter franchise, because that has a lot of problems, but it's just so damn enticing, I think. There's just something about it. It's so, you know, fucking, for the lack of a better word, magical. You just kind of fall in love with that universe, and it's just a lot of fun to watch. So the whole fan appreciation for the films and the books, I feel makes you overlook problems that the movies have.
And I guess part of it goes back to things like that series capture something that's so universal and enjoyable that it's hard not to have fun watching it. Like I just rewatched Sorcerer or Philosopher's Stone, whatever you want to call it.
I prefer Philosopher's Stone.
I prefer Philosopher's Stone, but when I say that to my friends, they think I'm being pretentious and British, so I just go with Sorcerer's Stone. But I would.
It's just like that's what it's always been called, and then for some reason, never mind. Sorry.
It's annoying. The book I had as a kid said Sorcerer's Stone, but whatever.
Mine too. Yeah.
I was watching that earlier today, and it doesn't matter whether or not like I'm fully paying attention. It doesn't matter if the story warrants it. It doesn't matter if I've seen the scene 100 times or not. But the first time Hagrid says, "You're a wizard, Harry," I get like this weird burst of joy. And it's really hard to get rid of that. It's something about the atmosphere, something about what that franchise means, not only to me, but to everyone else, and how that franchise seems to refuse to die, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's funny you mentioned that scene, because I think it was the Nostalgia Chick was doing like it's talking about the whole trope of, the Messiah figure. And so she plays that scene, and Hagrid goes, "You're a Jesus, Harry."
That's awesome.
But yeah, there's something that just when fans and everyone just love the fuck out of something, it can make you just overlook it. Milan, do you have any of those where the love or the appreciation that other people have for things make you overlook the problems of it?
No, not really. I don't really pay attention.
Fuck you. Just leave.
Dark Knight Rises has been doing that to me a little bit, because now I've either avoided or blocked most of the people that want to fight me over that movie. So just talking to like you or Alex, I start to like that movie more and more. Mm-hmm. Just because both of you acknowledge its issues, at the same time you're so much in love with what makes it good that I'm having a hard time just not sitting back and saying, yeah, but it's really good here and here, and it's really nice here, and I really like that one particular scene. I almost don't want to think about it more than that anymore.
Yeah, funny thing about The Dark Knight Rises, this fucking Italian 27-year-old guy fucking got on to me on fucking Skype. He's like, hey man, I'm a filmmaker, I'm fucking redoing The Dark Knight Rises, and I want you to play Bane, but I want you to play him as whatever you want to play him. He's hiring like actors, and he's gonna do like a 12 Monkey style of stop. You know how it's not a moving film. It's just a image, kind of a digital image film. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it seems pretty alright. He showed me the costumes, the designs. He has some money behind it. I'm like, why would you want me to do it? And he's like, you sound like a sociopath. I'm like, thanks, man.
Really get a Mexican guy to voice Bane, please?
Yeah, but he's like, yeah man. Yeah, he's like, he's going to be British.
Tom Hardy is cool and all, but at the same time, God damn it, there aren't very many Hispanic characters in comic books. So people go, oh, well, it's an actor's performance is more important. Yeah, sure, kind of, but then why don't we just have a white guy play Black Panther?
Yeah, I mean, I like the version of Bane in the comics where he substitutes English words and Spanish words pretty randomly.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see that on screen. In Young Justice they did that, though. In Young Justice, he was voiced by Danny Trejo.
Yeah, I mean, he was vaguely Hispanic. He's always, like, vaguely Hispanic, South American kind of thing.
Colombian.
And, that was in Batman the Animated Series they did that. It's just like, we got him... We got the kid that's the new Blue Beetle. We got a couple other, like, random guys here and there, but there's not very many Hispanic comic book characters, so it's especially, like,
Rainer's Hispanic, too, isn't he?
He's half Mexican, and so I really want to do a Zorro Green Lantern crossover with him. I really, really want that.
That'd be fun.
It would be, and I would give Zorro a Blue Lantern ring, and it would happen, and it would be cool, and we would all deal with it.
I would love that.
Because what would work about... Alright, so completely breaking the form of the video, but I just want to explain this to someone. So what would really be cool about that is you have Sinestro, who's this weird dictator asshole kind of guy. So you'd have Kyle Rayner and Sinestro fighting, they'd time travel because bullshit science, and end up in, early 19th century Spanish California, where they would get, knocked out, separated, whatever, I don't care. Sinestro would, of course, be taken in by the governor, alcalde, whatever we got, because Zorro's always corrupt government official, and Sinestro would teach him how to get his subjects even more in line and more up to step and be helping the villain. It would actually make sense. And then Kyle Rayner could be hanging out with Zorro, and then Zorro could get a Blue Lantern ring, and he could actually keep it at the end of the adventure because it's absolutely worthless without a Green Lantern around. So you could actually have like a cool ending scene where Zorro has a Blue Lantern ring and he like puts it on a shelf in his cave.
See, I want that. I want that so badly.
Right?
Like, the dream is always to have Batman and Zorro meet, but I almost want this more.
Batman and Zorro would be really cool, but Green Lantern and Zorro would just be so much more awesome.
I mean, it's such a cool juxtaposition between those two characters, specifically Kyle Rayner. Like, Kyle Rayner would be the perfect one to do that with.
Yeah, and, like, you could have Kyle Rayner, like, Zorro could have faded into mythology and everything, and Kyle Rayner could be like, no, you're real? Dude, I dressed up for you as Halloween when I was 10.
Oh my god, I want that scene.
Right?
They make movies about you and shit, like, oh, good, motion pictures, that's cool. And it's just like, yeah, they have fucking this fucking English dude playing you, like, okay. Anyway, but,
Wait, one more thing. Okay, so you know how Batman does his whole, like, sneak away or sneak up on someone when they're not paying attention thing?
Yeah.
And then they, like, turn around and it's like, oh my god. So Batman ain't got shit on Zorro because Zorro does it on a fucking horse. Can you imagine how difficult it is to train a horse to be a ninja? Just conceive of that for a minute, okay? All right. Go ahead, Milan. I'm sorry. Zorro rant's over. I promise.
It's cool, but yeah, I've been reading Secret Six recently, and it's just like, I just love Bane in that because he's just such a dad. It's so fun. He's been fucking babying fucking Scandal Savage and fucking Black Alice, and I'm up to volume 3 now, and it's just. I recently watched fucking blows himself up dude's video on the Secret Six just to fucking see what he thought of it, and it's just like Bane is odd. I'm like, he's off Venom, and it's so adorable to see Bane off Venom. He's like, I just want a scene where fucking Batman and Bane, they have this kind of weird warriors respect for one another, and I just want like Bane and Batman to team up, and then at the end of it, Batman saves Bane, and he's just like, what do you want? I owe you a life debt. And Batman just goes, you know what? Like, you'd be a great dad. Fucking become a dictator of your country, but a good one. I think you'd make an awesome dad. He's like, no woman will love me. He's like, no, dude. I heard stories of how you're like, actually, you'd make a great father and just have a really sweet scene and just, Batman pulls out his picture of his son Damian and whatever. It's like, I got sons. It's great to be a dad. And Bane's like, oh, god damn it, son of a bitch. All right, fine, I'll be a dad. Just a really sweet scene.
There's almost something like that in Secret Six where Batman has it's past Final Crisis and everyone thinks Batman's dead. So Bane, Catman, and I think Deadshot.
I've read this.
Ragdoll.
They all go out. They're kind of doing the Batman thing, and it's a really good issue. Nightwing's in it, written by Gail Simone. So there's lots of fun at Nightwing's expense, as well as exploring what Batman meant to his villains. Mm-hmm. And then there's a follow-up to it later where Catman and Batman beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, definitely. And I just love
Catman is such a weird character.
I love Catman. He's so cool.
He's like, he is. But he really shouldn't be. Can we all just admit that?
Yes. Yes. There's no reason Catman should be a badass, but he is.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get back. Actually, there's a good thing where like fans just fall in love with the thing because like Squirrel Girl's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Like she's able to beat the shit out of anyone to the point where you can go on forums, like you can go to Comic Fine's Battle Forum and you can find Squirrel Girl versus Galactus, and people will make legitimate arguments for why Squirrel Girl should win.
She does. It's actually an issue of Squirrel Girl where she beats the fuck out of Galactus, and it's adorable, and it's just like one of those things where when people take that shit seriously, when people legitimately, like, take these ridiculous stories seriously and go, like, fucking, here's the, like, why fucking Squirrel Girl can never beat Galactus. It's a fucking comic book about a girl who's a fucking part squirrel. You're taking this seriously? You're actually
like
gonna have a fucking...
Squirrel Girl or something, sorry.
Exactly, man. It's silly. What's the point of liking comic books if you fucking gonna take them seriously? Jesus Christ. But
I see where you're coming from with that, but at the same time, if it is, like, we've been making this argument for years that comics are an art form, and there's a curve, there's, like, stuff that's legitimately good literature, you got your Sandman, you've got your Watchmen, whatever, and then there's, like, the majority of comics are kind of, like, fun, entertaining, engaging material, and that's where a lot of your silly, goofy shit is. And then you've got like the low end of the curve where you got your really crummy, mostly stuff that came out in the 90s by Rob Liefeld. Like that's where all your bad stuff is. So like it's a curve like any genre. But let's go ahead and get more into the whole fan thing because you do have that. You have like fans like Boba Fett. To get back to Star Wars, but we'll go old trilogy. Boba Fett is such a fan-loved character that, like, he's such a nothing character in the movies. Like, he just is the bounty hunter that happens to catch Han Solo, and then he just falls into his fucking death in a Snarlack pit. But fans fucking love him to death, so he gets his own comics, he gets, like, all this attention and shit, and like or hate what Lucas did with his origins and making him the clones, in the prequels, that was his attempt to reach out to the fan base and show them that, hey, I give a fuck, guys. I actually care about you, and so I did this as, like, you know, a cool nod to how cool this character is. And, you know, regardless of how you feel about that, there was still obviously an attempt to do something for the fans of that character, right? And so, yeah, you've got fans' engagement and fan reaction to things is always really fascinating to me.
Well, I think
it's so weird because it's just like Boba Fett is just like, I never got the appeal. It's like he has a cool helmet and he has a jetpack, but
that's pretty much it. He just looks really cool, and then people run with it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when people just go, "Yep, Boba Fett, he's the best." I'm like,
I mean, that's what's going on with the new movie. There's that scene. All right, so you saw it. There's that scene where Finn fights the stormtrooper with like that weird electric baton or whatever it is.
Just yells traitor.
Yeah, and now fans have, like, you know, adopted him and they call him TR-8R, but the studios released his official character name as FN 2099 or something like that. So he was in Finn's training group as stormtroopers. That's why he's really offended with them and stuff. So now he's got this whole backstory. There's like all this shit going on with this with a stormtrooper who had a really cool scene. Oh. That's a really fucking cool scene.
Oh, that's not even the half of it. There's the scene with Maz Cantina where you go there and you see all those random bizarre creatures and aliens. In the background, for a split second, you see one red robot, and that one red robot has an official canon novel that you can buy on Amazon where he goes out as a pirate trying to steal Count Dooku's treasure.
Fuck yeah, why not?
Like, that's just how Star Wars operates. If you look the tiniest bit cool, you will get something.
Well, like, the funny thing is, you look at, or Manos actually made the point, it's like, this character who's on screen for 2.5 seconds has a wealth of backstory and like, just an entire universe to himself in the Star Wars canon.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much of that with Star Wars particularly, because that's such a fan-driven thing because of the EU. Like, there were Star Wars comics even when the original films were coming out, but the idea of an expanded universe made that a lot more important than I think it even was initially. Because the idea was that fans could write their own fan fiction, and then Lucas would give them the go-ahead to publish it and make it canon. Like, it was actually a creative process where you...
And I wonder why they had to make the EU out of canon.
I mean, the EU had to go. If you read the last 10 years of that stuff before Force Awakens came out, it was completely incoherent. There was just way too much crap that didn't make sense anymore. But in its early days, back when you had, like, your Thrawn stuff and your Legacy of the Force stuff, and even, like, your old Knights of the Republic stuff, it was really fun. It was very much about just everyone getting their own little part of space where they could deal with whatever issues they were dealing with in Star Wars form. There was such a massive galaxy to explore.
Yeah, funny thing about those in the first film, the spider guy and the weird deformed guy, you know, I think it's, what's his name? The old man with the sword. What's his name? He's the teacher. He's the old man. Ben Kenobi, that's the one. He's all like, he cuts a guy's hand off in the cantina scene. And apparently those two are just like two doctors that have become drug addicts and just go into the bar and just pick on people. And like, that's their fucking backstory. Like, yeah, they're just two fucking dudes that live together, take drugs, drink, and, you know, apparently have medical degrees in space.
Which is awesome.
I was thinking about this while I was watching Star Trek recently, and just general thought. So once interstellar contact and you have, like, proper, you know, alien races intermingling on each other's planets all the time and shit, does a degree in the veterinary sciences suddenly matter more than a degree in just average medical science? Because I would assume it would.
I think
because that's more of a general skill, as like, because the skills you learn as a vet can apply to multiple species, and, you know, a medical degree would still only be toward humans. Or I guess you'd have to update a medical degree to include more veterinary sciences. Just thinking about that out loud.
Would a general veterinarian degree give you, like, sufficient knowledge of the human body as well? Because then if you could do animals as well as a human animal to some degree, then it might matter more.
I guess
Well,
that's
like,
why.
you know,
I
you
guess
always
that's
see
why
in
they.
movies, whenever someone gets shot, they take him to a vet, you know?
Yeah, I
They
just
take
don't
him
know what vets would actually in real life be qualified for that.
Yeah, but
I don't know,
it's
just a
funny
thought I had.
But it's weird because from the Star Trek universe, there's like this character called Bones, and it's this pissed off doctor character that's always
He's a
angry.
fucking
Racist.
Of course, no, I don't think he's a racist. I think he's just.
Oh, he's a
he
racist.
is.
He's totally a racist.
He is. You replace anytime he says the word Vulcan with nigger, it's the most racist shit you'll ever hear.
No, I mean, like, he hates Vulcans. He's a racist.
Yeah, well, the thing with that is, he's always mad because he's just like, I gotta fucking learn the biology of like how many fucking races are in the goddamn thing. Fuck, like you'd never get out of medical school if you live in Star Trek universe. Just like, god damn it, I fucking memorized everything with humans.
It's funny. There's I'm watching through Voyager now, and like they're listing off all the Holo Doctor's like qualifications, all the knowledge he has. And one of them is like, you know, they go Grey's Anatomy and one other book, and then they go McCoy's Comparative of Alien Physiology. I'm like, what is it, just a bunch of racist rants about Vulcans?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's their fucking green blood and their pointy ears.
I think it was in TNG we saw McCoy show up at the end of the first episode. I just have this weird fantasy of McCoy growing old and just turning into, like, Calvin Candy. Where he's like, you see, Vulcans genetically have a defect that makes them the worst species in the universe.
Yeah. You know, they only fuck once every fucking 5 years or something. There's gotta be something wrong with them. God
yeah, like,
damn.
there's these 3 very particular indents on the skull that make them stupid.
Yeah.
I love that scene in Django so much, because that is exactly the kind of racism that early Americans, or that slave owners had.
Exactly.
That's like this scientific justification bullshit.
You know,
I fucking love that.
and guess what? That actually came from fucking the actor, from fucking Leo. He's like, you know what, Tarantino? Did you ever heard of fucking this shit? And he's like, what? Yeah, they actually still believe this shit. I want to write me a scene where I just yell at a black man and smash a skull in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, okay, Leo. Yeah, and I grab a black woman and shake her about. That'd be
And
great.
I cut my hand on a piece of glass and just keep going,
yeah.
and then rub my blood all over people.
Yeah. Fucking Leo, just like, I recently watched Revenant.
And
It's just,
still isn't going to get an
Nope,
Oscar.
the Bear is going to get it this year. Just wait and see.
for what? For Revenant?
Yeah, for the Revenant. The Bear will get it before Leo does.
Oh,
Probably.
fucking Jesus.
Poor
That is just,
Leo.
Yeah, poor Leo. It's just like, how many times can that guy just do, like, everyone says he just yells to be memorable, and I'm like,
No.
No, Leo's
he's
good.
a genuinely good actor. He's given us lots of good performances these past 5 years. But anyway,
How old is that guy?
40-something?
It's
God,
amazing.
I feel old.
No, it's not that it's 40. It's just like, it's amazing, like, that these Hollywood people don't really age. They're just kind of like, okay, just inject me with whatever fucking black market science drugs you got. Just make me stay beautiful. And he's just like, he's kind of got that fucking, like, I listen to girls talk about Leo, and it's like, Leo's not hot anymore. Sorry. I'm like, oh my god, you fucking bitch. How dare you?
The gloves are off. Milan's entering the ring.
He was something about Johnny Depp, too, and that freaks me out. But anyway, I guess get back to topic. Maybe this is a good segue, but do you guys ever find that validation from something like an Academy Award or just any sort of like say your favorite reviewer says that this is a good movie, and so now suddenly it's a good movie because someone else made the argument for you? Has that ever driven you off of something?
Not off of something, but it's certainly helped me like justify something, because like I hate when I really like something and then everyone else, like even the people whose opinions I respect, hate it. Green Lantern.
Right.
Like everyone hates Green Lantern. No one gives that movie the time of day. I think it's really, really, you know, it's not great or anything, but I still think it's good. I still think it's a fun fucking movie. And people just fucking hate it. And I'm like, God, that really, ouch, fuck me. And that's why, like, that is why I like Alex more than any of you fucks. Because he likes the Green Lantern costume from the movie.
Well, is Alex gay? Just to ask.
I don't know.
Are you sure? Because he's very fashionable.
It's not It's not a fuck you. I'm not getting into this.
I don't mean like just saying.
No, it's like so. Like I do have that where I'm like, shit, they don't like it. Is it just that I really really like it, or is there something that other people aren't seeing? As far as like someone else really likes it, that's a reviewer that I respect, and that makes me not like it. I don't think I've had that.
I've had that to a degree where like someone thinks just because something has more awards or more praise, it's automatically better, and that's their argument, and that makes me not want to side with them all the more.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like I had this conversation with a person once where I was telling them that I think Buffy is not as good as Angel, and their whole argument boiled down to, well, Buffy had more seasons and it survived cancellation more times, and it got more awards than Angel ever did. But that's all circumstantial. That doesn't make it a better show.
Yeah, but the thing about Buffy is that, apparently there's this list that the FBI has. They kind of catalog, like, what kind of weird shit weird people like. And it's just kind of like, apparently, if you like Buffy, you're on the pedophile list. Because apparently a lot of pedophiles like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I'm like, okay.
I don't think this is a thing.
No, I don't think that's a thing either. Like,
No,
Buffy's
I think
really
it is.
We're lied to about what a thing is.
Buffy's
No,
a
but
very
it's-
academic thing. Like, if that was true, then is everyone who's got a degree in Buffy studies a pedophile?
Whoa. There's
Or add
a
to
thing
that
called
list?
Buffy? Whoa. What? Buffy studies? What the
You
fuck
can
is
get
that?
you can go to colleges and get degrees in Buffy.
What?
Yeah, no, that's been a thing for like 5-10 years.
What?
Yeah, you can get entire
How?
degrees on Joss Whedon.
How? What? Why? What the fuck? Explain this to me.
Well, I mean, if you watch enough of his stuff, you'll see why. Like, that man is brilliant.
Huh. I don't know. Apparently...
You saw my Age of Ultron video. I could teach an entire class on the history of moral philosophy and Nietzsche just with that movie.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, fucking Nietzsche, man. You know these people that just like, produce mass murderers and sociopaths, just like Nietzsche, fucking the guy that wrote Catcher in the Rye? What the fuck is up with those people? When you kind of read into the work, and if you look at, like, Catcher in the Rye and shit like that...
It's always something that's got a level of vagueness to it, because Nietzsche's always writing very artistically, so there's a certain level of interpretation to his things, but some of the subject matter appeals to social outcasts, and then they use that as justification for their actions.
And with Nietzsche,
definitely.
It's a bit tougher, because Nietzsche you can reinterpret to mean almost anything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
there's
clearly a narrative of his stuff. There's clearly an overarching narrative of where his stuff is going, and people don't look at that. They look at just the one particular thing. Same thing with Catcher in the Rye. There's a very clear overarching place of where that book is headed, and if you look at other stuff that Salinger did, there's a clear motivation and direction toward his work, but people don't. They look at one thing, they think it perfectly describes them because they have very extreme social neglect issues, and then they use it to justify horrible actions.
Exactly, and that's what Crime and Punishment.
And that's why you kill John Lennon.
But that's what fucking Crime and Punishment is all about. It's just this giant refutation of that guy that reads a lot of Nietzsche and thinks, I am the fucking Ubermensch, I can kill people and I can justify it. It's just that whole novel is just him giving the middle finger to all those little college boys that read Nietzsche and think I can kill an old woman with an axe and justify it. Like, no, you can't.
We should watch Rope sometime.
What? Rope? What's that?
It's in a Hitchcock movie.
Yeah, it's about two gay dudes that kill a dude and stuff him in a fucking trunk. And
I don't think they're gay, but okay.
No, they are. Like, there's this fucking... The gay studies on that shit is just like, oh yeah, these dudes are just like... It's
been a long time since I've seen the movie, but I don't think that never occurred to me. There's probably an argument for it. No, we can do Rope sometime. I got that movie for Christmas because that's a Christmas movie, right?
Oh, definitely.
Anything's Hitchcock, the Christmas movie.
Oh, definitely. But the thing with The Catcher in the Rye, I've read a bunch of like FBI psychologizing shit about that book and why they think this shit makes people do the crazy shit that they do, and what is the fucking like the book about a fucking outcast teenage boy complaining about nothing and about how everyone's a phony, man. And essentially I know. Oh no, there's a deeper meaning to it. There's a deeper fucking underlining theme to it. I'm not saying that's what the book is about. I'm saying that's what stupid people's interpretation of that book is. And it's just like
so that's what you've said it's been about.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I think. I'm a stupid person, and that's what I think it's about. But it's essentially, yeah. I mean, it's just that goofy loner dude that kills a fucking celebrity or a politician and says, "Oh, fucking Catcher in the Rye told me everyone's fucking phonies." I'm like, dude, did you even read the book? And it's like, yeah. Like, okay, whatever. Catcher in the Rye, silly book. Don't like it.
Fair enough. No, and I mean, let's use this kind of, backflip to the topic. There's that point where fans take shit way too fucking far. And not just, acting upon doing horrible things to people, but just threatening people.
Yes.
If you like this movie, I will fucking kill you. If you like this movie, you're a fucking moron and you should be, murdered in the streets or whatever. And if you hate this movie, then you're gonna be raped or whatever. Like,
who the fuck says shit like that? What the fuck?
Oh, I've got stories.
You read
man.
YouTube comments?
I've got stories. I got death threats over my Spectre and Ant-Man reviews.
Are you serious? Motherfuckers are actually threatening you over fucking Ant-Man.
Yeah, no. I didn't like that movie. I didn't say it was bad. I said I didn't like it, and people were threatening to slit my throat and shit over it. And the same thing happened when I said I didn't like Spectre.
Are you serious? Yeah. Like,
yeah.
Who fucking does that? Who fucking...
I know,
what?
It's crazy. Like, I got spammed with it for, like, about a week, and I was seriously thinking just getting rid of those videos.
And isn't that terrible when, like, people just reacting with, visceral hatred makes you self-conscious about the kind of stuff you want to put up on what is your YouTube channel? Like, it belongs to you.
Yeah, like,
they don't have to watch it.
Exactly. I mean, I wouldn't say I felt threatened. It's just a matter of, like, I don't want to deal with that anymore. YouTube is supposed to be relaxing, and this does not make it relaxing.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of weird autistics threatening you about, it's a fucking...
Quit fucking throwing around the word autistics, you jackass.
Oh, no, man. Where do the fucking pretentious, angsty teenagers go in the winter?
I mean...
I don't get it.
That's part of... I guess Spectre fits into this, too, because there's lots of people that love that movie, and I just don't... I think that they're ignoring too much about it.
Yeah. Milan, the joke is Holden Caulfield always asks where do the ducks go during the winter in the book.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Ha. Literary joke.
Yeah, so certainly though, it's like it's so weird to be threatened by shit. And like, I don't like Taylor Swift. I think she's a really bad singer-songwriter. Her fans are fucking nut jobs, man.
Yes.
I mean,
you get that
just
with music a lot, though, don't you?
What?
You get that with music a lot more than anything else, though, don't you? Like,
music is always a very personal thing, so when someone doesn't like it, it's really hard for people to just accept that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can't have coherent debates about music when it comes to people like Taylor Swift or Adele or anything like that. Like, I'm not allowed to say I don't like Adele.
Wait, isn't Adele like a transgendered man or something?
No.
No? Are you sure?
Just get off the fucking internet. My God. You just, like, are the worst person to be reading shit on the internet because you believe it all.
Really? I didn't read that on the internet. I just thought it was just a thing.
No.
I'm just like...
moron.
She's not. She wrote one good song is all I'll say about that right now.
Steve's like Forrest Gump. That's all I have to say about that.
Is she the one that made, like, Shia LaBeouf dance with an underage girl in a cage?
Wait, what?
Is that Adele, or am I thinking of somebody else?
I have no fucking idea. Let's get back to the topic, though.
Yeah. No, but music is always such a personal thing, so people have that, like, very visceral reaction to you not liking it. And I don't know, I just don't understand that viewpoint. It's like, you better fucking like this thing or I'll kill you. Are you threatening me into enjoying it? What is the logic behind that,
Yeah.
I just cannot imagine how anyone could think that would work. It's like, you're going to bully me into enjoying this thing. What?
And I mean, they've got to be compensating for something, right? Like, they've got to acknowledge that there's things about it to not like, but the more people they can push to their side, the less that matters.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I feel like that's almost a behavior for people that don't want to admit flaws as opposed to people who don't see them.
Certainly. And, obviously we're talking about the extremophiles, right? We're talking about the people who just have no understanding of social graces. These are the same people who are like, leave comments on YouTube videos like, fucking whore or whatever, or just fucking morons, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, it's hard to talk about, and the majority of people aren't this way, but these people do exist. I feel like it's a disservice to the people who have to deal with it to act like these people don't exist. And it's such a weird thing, because I don't understand the logic to it, but at the end of the day, there is no logic to it.
And I mean, it sucks because they tend to be the loudest.
Certainly. It's a, vocal minority. That's what they're called.
Yeah, and I mean, you can go out in public and have more civilized conversations than you will ever be able to have on the internet, and that's kind of depressing, because the beauty of the internet is how much you can communicate with people, and it's been more and more difficult to do that as of late.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the great joke that people had about Age of Ultron, is that the dude took a look at the internet for 2 seconds and decided that humanity had to die.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
really
blame him. If I had that capability, I would too. Whedon's got a great interview where he talks about that.
And it's such a weird thing when you really think about how much investment people have into these different franchises or different properties, because, I mean, like, end of the day, no matter how good a movie it is or how bad a movie it is, it's a fucking movie, man. You shouldn't let it dominate your life and affect you that profoundly.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't completely agree in that. I think it's fine to let it affect you that profoundly. It's just a matter of, like, being able to communicate that properly. Like, Angel's not a perfect show, and if someone wants to argue with me about its problems, then sure, we'll go at it, but there's no way I'm going to be able to say that's just a TV show to me. That's the show that stopped me from killing myself, so I'm not going to be able to talk about it that way.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but but again, I mean, that's just a communication thing. That I won't say if you don't like Angel that I will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't mean to dismiss it as it's just a TV show or it's just a movie or whatever, but it is a movie. It's not... It's, like, whether or not other people like it or hate it is not going to affect your ability to watch it.
Yeah.
It's not going to affect its ability to exist.
Right.
So I don't understand the mentality of trying to force people to like it or force people into hating it.
And also, you don't owe anyone an explanation for why you like anything.
Certainly. Yeah, it's a crazy fucking world we live in.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go for just a minute or two more. Is there any final thoughts anyone had that they wanted to bring up?
It's just kind of strange when people take something that's meant to be be taken as entertainment so seriously that people just kind of attack you about it. I mean, people who let entertainment dominate their lives and just we just sit around talking about shit we kind of like because we're
geeky gentlemen.
Exactly. And you can like something. I don't have to like it. Like, I'm not a fucking Star Wars fan. I don't watch Star Trek. I have my own specific...
You really should watch Star Trek.
I really shouldn't, man. I'm already a fucking dork. I don't need that stigma attached to me. But I'm just like, it's just... shut up. It's Star Trek, man. But it's just one of those things where it's just like...
It's so your thing, though. That's what gets me.
What do you mean it's my thing? What are you talking about?
It's goofy, kind of like fun sci-fi stuff, but it's got this like really deep message behind it that's not so well hidden, but it's got this deep message behind it that's just like... It's seriously just a more eloquent version of the shit you say to me. So I'm just like,
what do you mean? Like, what do I say to you that's so fucking Star Trek?
Just watch Star Trek and you'll understand.
No, I'm not gonna watch fucking Star Trek. What the fuck do I say to you that has anything to do with Star Trek? What the fuck?
You always talk about just... Alright. Your fucking whole thing about space travel because of the need to explore and the idea that it's just more important to explore than anything else, Star Trek. The idea that you're not the meat suit, that there's more to you, Star Trek. Trust me, it's all you, Milan. Just watch some Star Trek. I don't even really like that show that much. Just watch some fucking Star Trek.
Oh, Jesus. But, yeah, I've recently been I've read, Nemesis.
I've recently been fucking good for you.
Yeah, thank you. But, anyway, I recently fucking read Supergod by Warren Ellis, and I'm turning it into a fucking motion comic series, because why not? It's about the end of the world. And it's essentially a story about, what a superhuman arms race would actually look like. Fucking terrifying. And me and my friend Adam are just like, he's doing the narration of getting other people to do some voices. And it's just like, it's kind of something that, I don't know, I really wanted to see what people might think of it, because it's a story that nobody really talks about. It's kind of a bit too dark for some people. It's a little bit too Warren Ellis-y. It's just an old man talking about where everything went wrong. And it's just, I don't know, the reason I brought this up is because I want Steve to voice one of the heads of this three-headed alien god creature. You want to voice an evil god thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
That sounds up my alley.
Yeah.
I did spend so much time with Ultron, so...
Yeah. No, I kind of see where you're connecting that to, though, where it's just the goofy shit you're into. And, they all are into goofy shit. I think it helps to kind of, not be dismissive, but to, lovingly undercut your stuff. Because I fucking love Batman. I love Batman to death. But I made a joke about Batman in relation to Zorro earlier. I love Batman more than I love Zorro, but still... I can make jokes about Batman. I can make fun of Batman. I can have good humor about Batman. So I think it helps to kind of, just undercut whatever your franchise that you're in love with is. If you're in love with multiples, I think it's healthy to undercut and be able to make fun of them, and not to try to put them up on pedestals of absolute perfection.
And I think that's the difference between truly loving a property and being obsessed with it.
Yeah, and I think that's where fan reaction really comes in, because fans can fall in love with something without becoming... And to the outside, quote-unquote, normals, whatever the fuck those things are, to the outside normals, it looks like crazy obsessive behavior, but they're only seeing the extremophiles. Whereas most people don't dress up in, fucking stormtrooper outfits every time they go out to the grocery store.
Right.
Like, there's those people do exist, I'm sure, but they're not representative of what the Star Wars fan base is. People, love Batman. Not everybody... sits on the internet all day and gives out death threats if you don't like The Dark Knight Rises. Those are the extremophiles, and of course they get the more focus because they're fucking weirdos.
Right.
But
yeah.
just because you want to go to the Batman vs Superman movie dressed up as Batman, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a fun time, and you're just going to a party-like environment. And it's a socially acceptable thing to do now at a midnight showing, to come in costume. Or, well, it was until fucking asshole crazy person.
Now it's more like a 7 p.m. showing, but yeah.
Yeah. So, it's just a fun thing you can do now. And I just don't understand why moving the, showtime has any effect on whether or not someone's gonna mass murder everybody. Just on a logistics thing, I have no idea why that's gonna change anything.
That might be a good econometric question that I can research later, but...
Yeah, anyway, it's something that legitimately just, boggles my mind. It's they're not gonna do it unless it's midnight? Anyway, So yeah, I mean, there's the extremophiles, and they're what gets the attention, and they're what give fans a bad name. And it's important to realize that's not everybody. That's not what the fan base is. If there's something that you don't like because the fan base has put you off it, do your best to just acknowledge you have had the unlucky experience of running into the assholes, and not everyone in that fan base is that way. That's the best advice I can give out when dealing with fan reaction to a property and fan expectations of a property. And I think that's where we're going to end the discussion, unless, Steve, do you want to throw in anything extra, or are you comfortable ending there?
Well, I just want to say, you're right, I absolutely agree with you. I think part of the issue is also when you want to be part of a community. Like, it's fun just being on a show like this with you and Milan, and then every now and then Rasco. And then it's fun to be over on Geekvolution and enjoy the live shows and talk to people in the comments. And if you want to do that, the extremists will show up, and they will try their hardest to ruin your good time. And the more that happens, the harder it is to just say, simply ignore them. But that's really the only advice I have even in that situation, because we've been getting that in the Primetime Crisis chats a lot. We've been getting lots and lots of trolls in for those chats, and all we can do is say ignore them. Just don't pay attention. Every time I get one of those crappy comments, I just copy and paste and put it on Twitter and let people deal with it however they want to.
I'm starting to do that. I did that with the fucking, dude, why do people think episodes of Geeky Gentlemen are the movies that we're reviewing?
You put Geeky Gentlemen into the title. It's the first word.
I don't
get it.
Understand that at all.
I know. I've been getting this with Age of Ultron all over the place. I'm like, okay, runtime similar, sure, but look at the first frame. It's in the first frame that this is not the movie.
Oh my god, it's like, I just don't... And then people are like, it's on the Planet of the Apes video, the Geeky Gentleman on the 2001 Planet of the Apes film, and then the Incredible Hulk pilot. People think it's the movie for some reason, even though it says Geeky Gentleman in the title. Like, one guy fucking, like, left a comment like, clickbait bullshit. I'm like, how is it clickbait? It says Geeky Gentleman in the title. And he goes, well, I was looking for the movie, and I saw the title of the movie, and I thought it was introduced by the Geeky Gentleman. My mistake, but still, that was a misleading title. You just admitted it was your fault for thinking that!
No, why is it our fault that people are idiots?
Oh my god. Anyway.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but I mean, more to what I was saying, just the, if you want to be part of a community, it's tough, but all you can do is just ignore it, because it seems like the more people you get in your group, the more you will attract the trolls somewhere. So the more civilized conversations you can have, the more maybe we can potentially discourage the kind of extremist fans that want to ruin everything.
Certainly.
Yeah, the silly pricks.
Yeah, you know, the dickheads. Anyway, okay, Steve, it's your turn to pick a review topic. What are we going to be discussing next week? And I have a feeling I just sprang this on you out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, I forgot it was my turn. No, that's cool. I can think of something really quick, because there's been lots of stuff I've been meaning to watch lately.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, let me just pull up my Netflix real quick.
I love episodes like that.
Right?
Like, oh, we'll just fucking talk about this thing.
I promise no more Jerry Maguires.
Please, for the love of God.
How the hell did that get a Best Picture nom?
What?
I don't get it.
Scientology, you know.
Isn't that before he became a Scientologist, though?
I don't know. What year was that?
It was like 90s.
Yeah, I don't know when he became a Scientologist. That's not something I follow. Okay, do you guys want to review Filth?
Filth?
Yes, it's a movie that came out in 2013 with James McAvoy. It's on Netflix right now.
Yeah. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, it's not particularly geeky per se, but it's a really interesting movie, and I've only seen it the one time, but I loved it the first time I saw it. It's actually been the case I make for people when I say James McAvoy should be John Constantine in the movies.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. It's on Netflix. Fair enough.
Yep.
That's what I always try to do. Is it easy enough to get a hold of?
Yep. It's on Netflix. If you can't find it on Netflix, I can just send you guys a link. It's only about 2 hours long.
All right, sounds good.
You know what's silly? Like, after this movie, we should totally review The Filth by Grant Morrison just to keep it in theme.
Oh God, that book. I've only read that once because I remember it so vividly.
I never read that book. Apparently, like, it's one of those things. Have you read The Filth? I'm like, no. What's it about? Read The Filth.
Yeah,
it's always.
I can't describe it. It's really good, but I can't describe it.
Try.
Okay, anyway. So that's going to do it for this week's episode of Geeky Gentlemen. Everyone, thank you very, very much for watching. Hopefully this was kind of coherent. We kind of just got off on a bunch of different places, but I don't know. I haven't talked to these two in a while, it seems. At least a week. Yeah, but that was a whole week ago, Steve. I don't even remember what I ate yesterday. Like, do you think I remember talking to you last week?
This is true.
Anyway, everyone, thank you very, very much. This was a lot of fun, even though Milana's just like, yeah, it doesn't affect me, so I have, like, no opinions. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah. Opinions are for queers.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway, until next time, I'm the philosopher.
I'm the politician.
And I'm the sane man.
Boo.
No, I'm trying to be a sane. Like, you should be fucking happy, goddammit. I'm trying to not be the madman anymore.
Fair enough. And until next time, we are your geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing things.